again, I guess I'm just curious as to why you would discredit a radio that government agencies. All right, RCT, let's talk about some of the comments that we saw or we typically commonly see when it comes to Baofeng and Motorola. So I just posted a video on the APX8000 field review of field test, and someone commented, just get a Baofeng, that's it for a $4,000 radio. I agree that the radio could be better. I don't think the location is always going to give its best ability when it comes to testing, meaning it was between the freeway concrete, which is commonly not going to do very good. I mean, we all understand that concrete is going to deplete the power on any radio, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 watts. It's going to have a difficult time going through concrete, right? This is why repeaters are accessible. This is why most antennas or base station, police stations, fire departments, their antennas are pretty high up there, where it's going to be a little bit more line of sight from your radio directly to the station or the repeaters. So yeah, it's not going to always do its best when there's unusual common obstruction. Now, if it was between buildings, I think I could have taken a test and gone the other way, which I think I'm going to try to do the next time to see if it pushes a little bit more through softer obstruction, meaning a little bit more buildings. If not, so the comment said just get a Baofeng if that's all Motorola is going to be able to do. Again, these radios, these APX8000, the XTS 3000, 5000, 1525, these are not designed to be simplex. These are not, I mean, these were never created to be just radio to radio. These have the capability of radio to radio, but these have been designed now to be more used with repeaters, digital vehicle repeater service, even cell service, LTE. Some of these can be added with, in case the radio repeater, the tower fails connection, they can swap over to internet service or cell service, right? So again, that's just kind of keep that in mind, that this was never designed to be simplex. Okay, that's really the first thing I want to make note of. Even when Motorola first started, the radios were essentially connecting to repeaters, towers. They were really, again, never really made for simplex or radio to radio, at least not ground to ground unit. Yes, they can. Yes, there's abilities to do that. But again, if you've never held one of these radios and never programmed one of these, you're going to see that most of the programming for these are more for repeaters. And phase 2, again, phase 2 is designed to be able to use repeaters more and have more connectivity through repeaters. Phase 2 is pretty much the same thing as DMR, whereas 2 slots. So there's 2 slots per frequency, and it kind of transmits in timelines, right? So it's kind of hard to explain, but if you know DMR is 2 slots, and it's going to transmit every other. That's how you can use private line, and you can use one frequency pretty much for 2 different channels. So again, these were not and never designed to be simplex. They do have the capabilities, but these were not designed with all of its abilities: encryption, advanced digital privacy, over-the-air rekeying. Again, these were not made for that type of style. Okay, so getting a mile from in the city, from person to person, yeah, that's generally what you're going to get. These are 4 or 5 watts max. Again, these were designed to follow FCC guidelines, right? Now, when it comes to your Baofeng, yeah, your Baofeng is going to be pushing out 10 watts. This is the DM32. And yes, it is designed to push 10 watts out. Again, compared to the antennas that Motorola designs to the ones that Baofeng design, actually I have them right here, they have also different tuning. So this is all going to make a difference as well when it comes to transmitting and connecting. So the better antenna, the better it's tuned, the better material. That's also going to make a big difference. If you're using an antenna like Baofeng, I haven't tested the SWR, but I just don't think Baofeng is going to meet the same transmitting and receiving capabilities as a Motorola radio. Right? So that's what they look like. Yes, Baofeng designed it backwards, essentially. It should have been like this, right? But that's what it looks like. But yes, Baofeng. 10 watts, yes. Is it following FCC? Kind of really not. But can it? Yeah, sure. It can push out 10 watts. I did a test on the Baofeng DM32. I'm sorry, Baofeng 5RM. It was 5 watts, and it did no better than a UV5R, or I think I had both 5RM and a UV5R. So the 5RM and the UV5R really didn't make a difference, even though the 5RM had 10 watts and UV5R was 5 watts. It didn't really make a difference. Now this radio here is going to be 10 watts versus this one's going to be 4 or 5. Again, the way it functions when it transmits, that's also another capability that this one might have over this one, meaning 4 or 5 watts on this one can be equivalent to the 10 watts on this one. Because again, in my experience, live real experience, I did it, I have the video posted, 10 watts didn't make a difference. Now, have I tested this one? No, I haven't, and I plan to do that very soon. But the benefit, some people say just get a Baofeng. Yes, you're going to save over $300-$500. I mean, this is now, when I first got my first DM32, this was $100 something straight from China. These weren't even hitting America just yet, or the States. And now these are about $50-$60. I think about the new bundles, $70. It came with the antenna, it came with the speaker mic, and I don't know, all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, the benefits of having this is you get dual band, VHF, UHF. You get analog, you get DMR. DMR is great. I'm not going to diss DMR. DMR is a great option to have if you want to expand beyond analog. DMR, as I said before, is a way to be discreet with your conversations, meaning a lot of scanners don't pick up DMR. You have to pay an extra service or an extra module in order to get DMR, while the P25 is really accessible on some of the scanners, BC 439, 436, the SDS 100, and a few other ones that can pick up P25. So not so discreet, but Motorola radios do come with ADP, which is Advanced Digital Privacy, which is pretty easy to set up in your radio. So again, that kind of gives you that added feature. While DMR does have, what is it called? I think it has like a similar style of AES. I did see in the booklet for this one that it has an AES 256 style, which is cool. You can set up your own keys, and they'll have to match keys. I get that. So the difference also, this is $4,000+. This is not going to break on me, right? This is absolutely not going to break on me. I can drop it. I can dunk it underwater. I've seen a test where someone dropped this in a wildfire and they came back and picked it up and it still functioned, it's still turned on. So the material, the durability is going to be different. Otherwise, government agencies and military wouldn't be using these. Baofengs, yeah, you can pay $50, $60, $70 for a little bundle, but it's not going to have, what is it called? IP? Intrusion protection, right? So it's not going to be IP68 versus this is IP1000. I mean, I'm just making that up, but durable as heck. This one, I wouldn't trust it. I'm not going to, fight the foreign country invading the States and throw this on and say this is my ultimate communication radio. I'm not saying that's what we should be doing when we buy radios, but I'd rather have this to have it. I'd rather have this to rely on it, right? This is one I can absolutely rely on for whatever activity I'm doing, right? And again, the benefit with this one is that this is an all band. This is VHF, UHF, full range, 700-800 megahertz. This is analog, and it's P25, right? This one I can talk. I can use ham radio. I can use VHF ham radio, UHF ham radio, GMRS. I can listen to FRS, same thing as GMRS. I can listen to police bands. I can listen to LAPD. I can listen to DPS here in Arizona. So it has pretty much everything in one bundle, where this one, you're only going to be limited to just really talking to each other. A lot of agencies have gone away from VHF and UHF, at least here in the Valley. Topaz and RWC is really taking over even fire departments, right? So our fire departments are now 700-800 megahertz, and not so much on VHF. I think DPS is the last one on UHF. They're saying they're going to swap over to 7.8. I think they already have a few channels on 7.8. They're going to encryption soon. Cool. Anyways, again, Baofeng, $50 $60. Sure, you can use this. It will communicate. I'm not going to say it's not going to, but depends on how well or where you're at, or how much you're willing to rely on your radio. So yes, what I typically like to think is when people say just get a Baofeng, two things comes through your head when you say that. Number one, you've never really held one of these. You've never used one of these. You don't know what it can do. And number two, you just can't afford one of these. So you're just saying, just get a Baofeng. It's just as good as this. Well, again, I don't think you've ever held one of these in your hand if you're saying this is all you need. I don't know. I'm not going to agree with you saying this is all you need when you can have this and this, because if it comes down to it, this is all you need. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts. It's an argument that I think as long as Baofeng and Motorola are going to exist, people are always going to argue about just get a Baofeng. I remember the one time I showed a buddy who, he's very tactical. He shows me his gear, and I upgraded this and this scope, and he's got night vision goggle. And I mean, the one time I came into work and I brought my XTS 3000 and I showed it to him, and I'm like, oh, check this out. And he goes, why not just get a Baofeng? And my jaw dropped, thinking again, you probably don't even know what an XTS 3000 is. You don't really know how durable and reliable that radio still is till this day. XTS 3000 is one of my favorites, not because of what little it can do compared to the new ones, but it was the first P25 radio that I used in my department close to 30 years ago, right? I remember our department went from the HT600s or HT something, the big gray box one, the bricks. We went from that to the XTS 3000, and it was just a great radio. We went from UHF to 700-800 megahertz, and it was just awesome. The radio could do a lot. You can patch through phone calls. That was when you had your repeater hooked up to the phone lines, and DTMF, and we had our Nextel phones with us, our bleep bleep, so we had both of those going on at the same time. But that, again, I've been experiencing Motorola radios, public safety radios, for years now, that to me this is a preferred, because why not spend the money on this versus this? Sure, if you can't afford this, not a problem. Go for this. Absolutely. Get something beefy, something pretty good. I prefer this radio over the UV5R. I prefer this one over the 5RM. This is a good radio. I'll tell you right now, this is probably one of my most or more favorite, how would I say, DMR radio compared to the XPR 6550 and XPR 7550. I just feel like it's more of a rough and tough radio compared to the 6550 or 7550, only because I like bigger radios. I just feel like they're in your hand and they just don't feel like toys, right? They don't feel like toys. So I prefer to, if I was going to go with Baofeng, yeah, I'll take this one, and I'll go to I'll spend the day with this one versus the UV5R and the 5RM. Now, if all you can afford is a Baofeng, sure, dude, no problem. Rock it, but don't discredit Motorola radios, especially if you never dealt with the one or held one or programmed one or used one or heard one. It just sounds very immature for you to say just get a Baofeng. Why even go the route of Motorola? Again, I guess I'm just curious as to why you would discredit a radio that government agencies and military services are using and they're not even looking at this. Like, you go tell the military and police agencies, why are you spending $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on these? Just get one for $50. Okay, I mean, doesn't sound like a very intellectual thing to say, right? So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Tell me. I mean, if you had the money, would you buy one of these? The only reason why I was able to get this is I cleared up their credit card. Yay for me, and I decided to rack it up by putting this on a credit card. It was a little over $4,000. And again, this one I've had only because I wanted it. I kind of wanted it in my hands and DMR and see what it's all about. And that's typically why I buy these type of radios, is because I kind of want to see what they do. I want to see what they do, how well they handle, how do they sound. Sounds pretty awesome, but this one sounds even better, right? The fact that you can manipulate this so much, I prefer it that way, right? And this one, if you put, I mean, there's more you can do with this one. You have your little DMR beep, right? That's cool. You can put DTMF, or it's got that BC 1200, whatever the case is.
2, 16,
Quiet.
1.
See? You can do that. Cool. Sounds like almost like this one with the analog. But what are your thoughts? Give me your comments. Give me your thoughts. If you could afford it, would you buy this one? Why do people discredit Baofeng or discredit Motorola so much? Tell me, why do people discredit Motorola so much and believe that Baofeng is all you need? Let me know in your comments, and we'll see you in the next video. I think what I'm going to be doing soon is testing this. I think I saw someone saying to test these two together. I'm willing to do that, and we'll see how it goes. Again, maybe this might get a little bit further, but maybe because the antenna or the design, I don't know, is it good enough to transmit that far? P25 might reach further, or DMR might reach further. I don't know. We'll see. But give me your comments. Give me your thoughts. Why do people discredit Baofeng so much? All right, Radio Check. We'll see you on the next one. Radio Check. Over and out.